Call the meeting to order and rise for the pledge of
Sure, good evening. We'd like to recognize Mrs. Macko's third grade class over there on the bulletin board. Nothing better than All About Me. So please take a look when you get a chance, and thank you, Miss Macko's third grade class here at Fayette.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to try to get you in and out tonight. So we're going to go into the approval of the September 10th, 2019 minutes. All in favor to approve the minutes or a motion?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? That passes. And approval of warrant, budget transfers, and wire transfers. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And, C, the approval of the treasurer's report. Motion on that? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So I think we're going to, I'm going to hand it over to our lovely superintendent to discuss the auditor's report.
Good evening again. I'm going to actually introduce Miss Mary Ann Van Dyne from Morris Abrams to give us an overview, about a 10-minute, 5-minute overview, and any quick questions that the board may have or the public regarding our financial situation here in North Merrick. Thank you. May I make a suggestion, since you did speak with the board at the audit committee, maybe if we can change the microphone a little bit to the side so that the public can hear and as well, if that's okay, Madam President?
I mean, why don't you just take my chair? Guys, we've heard this already, so I think it's fair if you sit down. Good.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to present the results of our external audit. So we came in and we gave you an opinion on your financials, as well as we issued a management letter which really discussed any recommendations as far as internal controls. So with regards to the opinion, we gave you an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion you can get as a school district. We were very happy to see the business office is in an excellent condition. We had absolutely no audit adjustments, which was really, really great to see. Financially, we do look at your financial position, and you do have a very strong balance sheet. You are at the maximum level of 4% of next year's budget, which is your unassigned fund balance. Last year you were at that level, and this year you were at that level. So that's really an important indicator of financial strength. And that's really what your financial advisors do look at. So we felt that you really have a good portfolio, you have long-term planning, you do put monies aside in reserves for any long-term expenses. One new reserve this year was the reserve for the teachers' retirement system, which was new this year. School districts were able to put monies aside for the teachers' retirement system increases. So you were able to set monies aside for that, which will help you in future budgets. So it's really important to have a financial plan, which you do have in place. You do fund reserves as well as you use your reserves. So you're using the reserves to assist in future budgets. So it really shows you that you're not only giving money back to the taxpayers in the current situation, but also long-term planning will help you in future budgets. So financially, we felt that you do have a good plan in place, and that's why we felt your books were very clean. We felt we wanted to give you the best opinion that you can get as a school district. In addition to looking at your financial position, we also, like I said, we look at your internal controls. And you have very strong internal controls. We like to see if you implement what we recommend. And all the recommendations from last year were implemented this year. So it really shows you the business office is very proactive in taking our audit seriously. And then there was one minor recommendation this year, but nothing material. So we felt, really you do have strong controls, and you're always trying to improve on anything that we do recommend for you to be implemented. So all in all, we had good results with the audit, financially as well as with the internal controls, and I wanted to thank Tom McDade and his staff. They were all great to work with. The audit went very smoothly, and we were able to get the audit done in a very timely manner.
Thanks. Would you quickly explain the OPEB liability?
Sure. So all local governments are required on our long-term balance sheet to report a long-term liability for other post-employment benefits. And that is calculated by an actuary. So the actuary will come in, and it's based on years of service, the age of your population, and it is reported on all school districts and all local governments. However, there is no mechanism to fund that liability. Other states are allowed to fund that liability, but you as a school district are not allowed to fund that long-term liability. You do fund it, pay as you go in your budget, but you cannot fund that liability. So what happens is that you're reporting this large liability on your balance sheet where there's no asset to offset it, which is normal. We see it in all our school districts, and what happens is it creates a negative net position only for the fact there is no mechanism to fund that liability. So what financial advisors really look at when they're determining if the school district is strong financially is really your general fund balance, which is what the budget is based on. What we're referring to with the other post-employment benefits, that is just a reporting requirement, and the district has no mechanism to put monies aside. So it really does not have the impact on your financial status as, being reviewed by outside agencies.
I know I asked some of these questions earlier during the audit committee meeting, but I thought I'd ask them again here in public. So last year, when I read through your report from last year, there was a statement that said the North Merrick School District was fiscally insolvent. I want you to answer that or react on that statement.
That is not the case. Like I said, you do have a very strong financial position. The misinterpretation is looking at that long-term balance sheet where there is no mechanism to fund. So I would not say that you're considered insolvent. Those are just long-term liabilities that are being reported in all governments, and it's just normal, reporting requirements per governmental accounting standards. What I would say is you have a strong financial position that's really based on analyzing the general fund, which is what your budget is based on.
What's the definition of insolvent?
The what?
Definition of insolvent.
The definition of insolvent is that you can't pay your bills.
Exactly.
So-
So if your liabilities exceed your assets, you're insolvent. So if anybody were to look at these financial statements that didn't have a governmental background, they would think that the district is insolvent.
No, that's not the case, because what you're looking at, you should be looking at is your current bills and your current receivables, not a long-term liability that you're not going to have to pay. It's just a projection based on
Yeah,
actual
but like every
assumptions.
other district, we just have that liability up there. So every other district has that liability.
Right.
So in definition, every district is insolvent, so we're just like everybody.
They have a negative net position. I wouldn't say insolvent, I say they have a negative net position. Yes?
Hi. Do we have access to the audited financial results?
Well, we did say that if the board so chooses, but would the board like to finish up? And then
I accept you. Yeah,
it's up to the board.
I'll just finish it.
You want to finish first?
Yeah, so quickly, so the statement was made last year that we were $20 million in debt with no feasible plan to repay. That's the OPEB number. So you mentioned earlier that we're legally not allowed to fund that.
That's correct.
And are we doing that now? Did that change?
You only pay as you go, so you fund whatever's in your budget is what you pay currently, but any of the long-term liabilities you're not allowed to fund.
What was the other one we spoke about, the 205,000?
That was the TRS
That's
one.
the
Oh, that's
teacher's
it.
retirement system,
Okay.
yes, that's 2%. Right, it was limited to 2% of the TRS salaries, you're allowed to put money aside for, that's the pension as opposed to what we were referring to as other post-employment benefits, which is just retirees' health insurance.
And that's it.
That's what,
That's through this year that we funded.
that the teacher's retirement system funded, yes.
Also, you mentioned that our unassigned fund balance were at 4%, which is the state limit, correct?
Right.
So I asked the question earlier, if we had more than 4%, legally we would have to,
You're not required to, you're not allowed to have more than 4% of next year's budget based on real property tax law 1312. So I would say if you did have over the 4%, you could put money into a reserve, but you would not be allowed to be over 4%.
gotcha. And I think, Tom, you mentioned some other district used that they had over 4% and were able to pay down the next year's budget. And
So
so,
a couple of years ago, one of the school districts, I believe it was Merrick School District, was over 4%. They used money to security.
oh, yeah.
They used their excess fund balance for security enhancements, which was a one-time fee. So what happened with that, their budget went up to fund security. The next year, it wasn't in the security, so the total loss of revenue, this is a one-time fund of using the excess fund balance.
So what's the rationale with water center? Of why they just,
It's a legal requirement. It used to be 2% years and years and years ago, but the state sets a limit. They don't want you to have excess money in this unassigned amount because it's not restricted for anything, where the reserves are specific to specific expenses. So they want to make sure that you don't have excess money in that unassigned number. So that's how that came about.
So if we kept more than 4% and we had to spend it down, it might show a budget-to-budget decrease.
Correct.
So since the audit committee was able to ask and answer these questions previously, in the interest of time, I'd like to open up to public comment with the public now, because we've heard this before, and I think we all understand this pretty fairly well. So I'd like to open it up to the public for any questions, if you'd like to come up to the microphone and if you have any questions on this. And we are going, just to clarify, we have to vote on this to accept the report, I believe, and then it'll become public tomorrow online, and it'll be accessible to everyone. You can come up, it's okay. You don't have to say it.
This is great timing, because I got my property tax, school tax bill in the mail. Okay, so just a couple of questions, and okay. Do you name, again, Schaefer, understand? So two things. One is, I think on the long-term liability, that's helpful to bring it up, and we keep talking about it, but we don't have access to the audited financials. I assume they'll go on the website. Yes.
Voted on, yes.
Can we say what that number is?
34,703,135.
Okay, so it's a $34 million in a long-term liability that we don't ever have to pay, or at some point we have to pay?
It's a projection of potential future liability. So, but you only have to pay as you go, is what you're required to pay, yes.
So the actuaries say this is how much we think it's going to be, but every year they calculate and tell you how much you owe.
Right.
So you do owe money, but you just get it year to year what you actually owe.
You pay, right, you pay in the budget, yes.
Right.
So it's a
So the stock market is
projection.
great, you pay a little less, the tanks, you're going to
Right.
pay more. There's a lot of variables.
They have a lot of assumptions, so they have a discount rate. They look at the projection of how long people are going to work in the district, healthcare trend rate. So there's a lot of different assumptions that come into that number.
But that 34 million, plus or minus some percentage that we don't know, we only know every year, we do have to pay.
It's a projection of a long-term liability, so we can't say that you're going to, at any one point in time, you're not going to have to pay that 34 million. It's a projection that this is a potential long-term liability.
But every year they tell you how much you have to pay for the year.
Yes, you budget for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just last, you made the comment that you're giving money back to taxpayers, and I might just not understand how the budget works. My school taxes went up almost 5% this year, so did we give money back this year, or did our taxes go up?
No, we gave back $669,000 last year to lower the tax levy this year. If you give me a call, I can talk to you about your individual tax bills. Anyone actually who has questions about the tax bills, please give me a call. This is the time frame. I start getting calls every day in regard to it. I walk through everybody how and why their taxes actually went up for a specific reason. The real short of it is certain situations that you have to look at for class 1 property, the percentage in your property either went up or went down as compared to everybody else. So let's say hypothetically, your property, the average in North Merrick, the average property went down 5%. Well, if yours went down 2%, you're a little bit above the average, so you're going to pay more than the...
So it doesn't necessarily have to do with the budget.
Correct.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Any other public questions or comments? Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mayor Ann.
Thank you.
Off to another board meeting?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to now turn the program over to Mrs. Friedman so that she can introduce our second grade from Old Mill Road, who has a little surprise for us.
Actually, Mrs. Beluga, if you would come and join me, we have we're accepting a very special gift tonight, and the gift itself ties in very, very nicely to our marine biology, marine science, environmental unit. I want to turn it over to you.
All right. We're very lucky this evening because we have our principal here, Mrs. Ellen House, and Mallory, who is a student in the program, and Valerie, it was Mallory, I'm sorry, Valerie Curbs if they would like to come up and speak about the program. They collected bottle caps, and the bottle caps were turned into a buddy bench, and they are donating that to Old Mill Road School as long as the board accepts it. And I have one of my 6th grade student council and one of our science squad helpers who went on our 2nd grade field trip to Short Beach, and London Gallagher was one of our 2nd grade students who went on the trip, and it just ties in beautifully with community and our high school community along with our elementary school. So I'm going to ask you two to please come up to share with us what you did, and then we have a presentation for you.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Kurtz, and I'm a senior at the Meadowbrook Alternative Program. So last spring in marine bio, we studied the impact of plastic pollution in the ocean. And at first, it was easy to think that this wasn't our problem. All of the pictures and the data showed that most of the pollution was in Asia. But as we continued the unit, we saw the impact it had on animals and fish. There are entire bird populations that are decreasing because birds eat plastic, and then feeling full, they don't search for any more food. So they die of malnutrition. Our study of the impact on fish is even more frightening, and it turns out we're all consuming plastic through the fish that we eat. So our teacher, Mrs. DiGiovanna, challenged us to create a solution. Collecting plastic was a fine idea, but we wanted to do something that would make a lasting impression. We found a company in Kansas that turns plastic bottle caps into buddy benches. Each bench requires 200 pounds of bottle caps, and we collected over 400 pounds, which gave us enough for 2 benches. Returning the empty bottles for the 5-cent deposit and asking for the donations helped with the cost of shipping to Kansas. Mrs. DiGiovanna applied for a grant that covered the cost of shipping them back to Merrick. Tomorrow morning, a buddy bench will be delivered to Old Mill Elementary School from the students and staff at MAC. We hope it serves your students well. Thank you for having us.
And Kaylee and London have something for you from all the students at Old Mill Road School.
Thank you. This is so cute.
It's just a thank you from us. And maybe you could show Mr. McDean the front of that. It's a buddy bench with the Mets and Yankees. Everybody can be a buddy.
Thank you, Ms. Ellenhouse, for coming out. We go way back.
We do.
Yes, many years.
I also want to thank Mrs. Castillo, who's here. Mrs. Castillo is a 2nd grade teacher that actually facilitated the Marine Way to us.
Stand up, Mrs. Taylor. And she looks very tired. You can take her home.
Thank you.
Okay, superintendent comments. So we're in October already. We have our parent university coming up on October 22nd. Please place it on your calendar. It's always a huge event. And it's amazing because every year we always say, I can't believe it's better than last time. So we're looking forward to another wonderful evening. Tomorrow is our evacuation drill early dismissal. We did cancel it at camp because the rain percentage is about 65% at 9 in the morning. But you will still have the early dismissal at camp. And right now, Old Mill Road and Fayette are still going through with the evacuation drill. But if they do need to cancel it for weather, they will put out a Connect Ed and do so tomorrow because theirs is in the afternoon. Halloween is, again, in October, as it always is, in the fall festivals, and in meeting with the PTA District Council and looking at the needs of each of the buildings, we have put in for additional security guards at each school, so that each school will have an additional 2 guards for a total of 3 outside on the grounds with the children while they are participating in the parade in the mornings and then the fall festival in the afternoon. So just to put the parents at ease. Our H2O program will be hitting the ground running over the next week or two. The people who apply to participate are being approved tonight on the Personnel Actions Report. Thank you to staff. We had a huge turnout. So the pool of people available will allow us to have substitutes for people who can't make it. And if there's a need for additional sections, we do have a large pool of qualified people. Our Wings parent meeting was held I think it was about a week and a half ago. Huge turnout. Thank you, Mrs. Friedman and your team for running that. It was a huge success. We received a lot of positive feedback. This year we are launching our Enrichment for All program. We have 3 days set aside throughout the school year for students in all grades to participate with their teachers in fun-filled, enriched activities, and we look forward to the pilot this year and expanding upon it. And last, but certainly not least, a letter went out at the end of last week to staff and to parents about our Mental Health and Wellness Coalition that we are beginning this year. We've heard a lot about the model at the high school level, the Belmont Merrick Central High School level, and my team and I have been really racking our brains to take a look at a model that would be perfect for the elementary setting. And in doing so, we are bringing on board through BOCES Mr. Todd Benjamin. Stand up. Mr. Benjamin has worked with us previously at parent universities, the Mindful Parent presentation, the Joy of Family Time presentation, and has also done some professional development for us at the Matter Mindfulness back in 2017. He is a social worker, has many, many affiliations with outside agencies and organizations, and we look forward to you participating and bringing us to this cutting-edge piece of mental health. We're calling it the Mental Health and Wellness Coalition, and we are keeping it separate than physical wellness and nutrition because of the importance of it and the priority that we are giving to it. We have asked for volunteers to participate on the coalition, and we have received several participants. So if you have not written to us or called us and would like to participate, please feel free to reach out via email or phone. We welcome the participation. The model that we will be using is having once a week a before school session and an after school session where Mr. Benjamin will have clinical office hours, more or less, to work with parents and their child in addition and beyond the work that is done with them during the school day with our mental health teams. It's almost as if it's another level of intervention in addition to what goes on during the school day. The before school hours and the after school hour allow some flexibility in the scheduling for the parent as well. What Mr. Benjamin will also be able to do is speak with parents about outside agencies that may also assist because of his connections to those outside agencies. And we just see this as expanding upon our mental health that we are a team and what we provide to students and families and enhancing it and broadening it to meet the needs of children each and every day. So more to come on that. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your support. We look forward to rolling this out. And our first meeting is going to be held on October 28th. Sorry, October 28th, so more to come on that. And we will be putting out a monthly newsletter, North Merrick Healthier Times, which is only about mental health and wellness and speaks about the work of the coalition as well as highlighting the amazing work that goes on in each of the buildings each and every day as it pertains to mental health and wellness. So more to come on that. And thank you to the Board of Education for the support in moving forward and providing a strong mental health program to our students.
Thank you, Dr. Cindy. Thank you. And maybe at the next board meeting, we could have a status update or a status report on how the coalition is moving since it is new and it's very exciting. Thank you.
Before we move on, I just want to thank Mr. McCabe for doing an outstanding job with our budget, and I just wanted to thank the public for that. Good job.
And for offering to take phone calls to discuss tax bills. I might take you up on that, I might. So I appreciate that. I'll talk to you tomorrow. So we're going to move on to public comment, and I'll read that. We have our new guidelines, new and improved guidelines for public comments. Any person wishing to make comments or raise questions shall fill out a comment card. After you are called, come forward to the microphone and state your full name. All comments or questions shall be directed to the board president or superintendent of schools. The board or administration will do their best to immediately respond to any questions. Out of courtesy and fairness to the rest of the audience, each person will limit his or her remarks to no more than 3 minutes, not to exceed a 30-minute session. Public discussion with respect to confidential matters, of course, is prohibited. So if you have any comments.
Senior round. Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to ask, about a year ago, I brought up adding Spanish to the curriculum. I just wanted to know if there's any progress with that and anything needs to come up. Thank you.
Mind, Dr. Siniak? Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, at this time, we do plan on offering what we've offered, as you are aware, our Saturday program for language as well as our summer program. This is the time of year we do start to create the budget, and obviously amongst our conversations, foreign language is always on the table for a conversation. Thank you.
Franco.
I don't know if this would come from the superintendent or the board, but I'm wondering if we could do a better job of notifying the public about when there are these board meetings. I know it's in this calendar that some kids come home with, but I get like emails when there's a flyer, when there's a SEPTA meeting, or emails about all sorts of different events in the district, and this seems to be a really huge thing, and I think that we could do better with turnout if people knew it was even happening.
Okay, I think we have been trying to get the word out. I know I'm going to let Dr. Siniak just take
Did,
this.
an e-alert went out for this board meeting. Are you signed up for e-alerts?
I am.
Did you get one for this?
I did not.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so why don't, tomorrow, if you have a minute, would you be able to call Mrs. Long to make sure that your email and everything is set up? But we,
You just put, I'm sorry,
For
just put it
now.
on the back of the card and.
without giving it out,